Loads of so many different influences in his music, and I can hear kind of bowling in his voice and lots of different things really.
He doesn't chase fame, he doesn't follow trends. Weller just listens, then he holds on, and once the music connects, it never leaves him.
Devendra Barnhart, because he interests me as an artist and a character.
For nearly 50 years, Weller has been the restless engine of British music, fronting the Jam, shaping the Style Council, and carving a solo career that refuses to sit still. But beneath the reinvention, there's something deeper. His ability to recognize greatness when he hears it. The one musician who lasts. The one record that changes him. The one voice that doesn't fade. He doesn't admire lightly. He admires for life. The Jam, the Style Council, Wildwood, Stanley Road. His catalogue defines generations, but at the core of it all are the musicians who taught him what timeless really means. And when those sounds hit him, when the influence is real, Weller doesn't just respect it, he absorbs it, transforms it, makes it part of his own identity. That's when music becomes more than memory. That's when it becomes blood.
And from today, I've met quite a lot of people that I admire these days, I'm lucky to have to say that really.
He's worked with legends. He's stood shoulder to shoulder with giants. But only a few remain untouchable, the ones who gave him everything, and in return, gave him something even rarer. Here are the 5 musicians Paul Weller holds above all others, above fame, above fashion, and no one else has ever replaced them. Number 1. John Coltrane. Some musicians follow fashion. Paul Weller follows truth. Coltrane isn't just a saxophonist to him, he's a compass. From the moment Weller first heard A Love Supreme, the air shifted. The sound wasn't just music, it was revelation. That shock of clarity never left. Weller talks about Coltrane the way you talk about a mentor, not just admired, but necessary. Coltrane once said, "I want to be a force for real good." That single sentence explains why Weller returns to him. Coltrane didn't just push harmony, he pushed purpose. On Giant Steps, he rewrote the rules of improvisation. On My Favorite Things, he stretched the familiar until it sounded brand new. And with A Love Supreme, he turned prayer into performance, fusing discipline with devotion. Weller sees that arc, experimentation tied to meaning, and it mirrors his own restless path. From the Jam's sharp riffs, to the Style Council's soul textures, to the maturity of his solo work, Coltrane's fingerprint is there. Evolve, but keep the heart steady. That's why Coltrane endures. Not because he was popular, but because he was pure. Coltrane also said, "You can play a shoestring if you're sincere." That's the lesson Weller carries forward. Strip away the gloss, play with honesty, and the sound will hold. Weller's best songs live by that rule. Simple lines, delivered without disguise, hitting harder because of their sincerity. That's why so many listeners describe his music as timeless. Sincerity never ages. It's not just the tone, it's the discipline. Coltrane practiced relentlessly, breaking patterns apart, then building them stronger. Weller respects that grind. In his own studio sessions, he works the same way. Sketch, refine, push, repeat. Both men built legacies by refusing to coast, always demanding more of themselves than the audience demanded. And then there's the spiritual weight. Coltrane's music doesn't just entertain, it reaches upward, demanding something greater. Weller admires that bravery, the refusal to settle for being just a performer. Coltrane was chasing transcendence, and Weller connects with that chase. From Coltrane's own liner notes to A Love Supreme, this album is a humble offering to him, an attempt to say, "Thank you, God," through our work. That humility explains why Weller reveres him. Coltrane fused mastery with grace, fire with restraint. No ego, no empty noise, just a constant search for something lasting. Other musicians might impress. Coltrane transforms the atmosphere. And for Paul Weller, that's the difference between sound that passes through and sound that stays, shaping everything that comes after. Number 2. Marvin Gaye. When Paul Weller drops the needle on what's going on, he isn't hearing a classic, he's hearing a manual. Harmony as empathy, groove as conscience. The record taught him that complex arrangements can still feel honest, and that a singer can carry news, not just notes. Weller's reverence isn't distant, it's practical. He studies Gaye's choices, like an architect reading blueprints. Marvin once sang, "War is not the answer, for only love can conquer hate." That line isn't just beautiful, It's a mission. Gaye produced much of the album himself, stacked his own vocals into choirs, and let James Jamison's bass wander like a second narrator. The songs move without hurry, yet every bar advances the story. Weller hears that balance and borrows it. Rhythm with patience, melody with aim.
What's going on, baby?
Before 1971, Gaye was Motown's velvet voice. Ain't No Mountain High Enough with Tammy Terrell, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, turning heartbreak into a national pulse. Afterward, he kept evolving. Let's Get It On turned sensuality into gospel. Here, My Dear turned turmoil into stark confession. Weller respects that refusal to stagnate. Change wasn't branding, it was survival. Marvin said it plainly, if you cannot find peace within yourself, you will never find it anywhere else. You can hear that inner search in the layered vocals, the way he answers himself, questions himself, comforts himself. Weller listens to that intimacy and understands how to write from the inside out. A groove can be gentle and still unshakable. A protest can arrive as a lullaby and sting harder for it. The craft was exact. The percussion on Mercy Mercy Me, the ecology, is feather light, but the subject is heavy. The strings glide, yet the message cuts. That tension, soft touch, hard truth, is the part Weller keeps. It's why a whisper in his songs often feels stronger than a scream. From Inner City Blues, Marvin laments, "Make me wanna holler the way they do my life." That line is weather, still urgent, still alive. Weller hears it and remembers what music can hold. Anger, prayer, exhaustion, hope. Gaye carried all of it without losing grace. Even in later years, when he left America for Europe in search of calm, the pursuit stayed the same, turn chaos into clarity. So when Weller names his guiding lights, Gaye stands near the top, not for nostalgia, but for standards. Depth over noise, truth over volume. Marvin proved a singer can build a world and invite you to heal inside it. Weller never forgot. Number 3. Stevie Wonder. There are songwriters, and then there are world builders. To Paul Weller, Stevie Wonder isn't just a hit machine. He's a playbook for how modern soul can be daring, melodic, and deeply human at the same time. Through the 70s, Wonder took full creative control, played most of the instruments himself, and turned synths and clavinet into living, breathing characters. Weller studies those choices like a producer reading stems, where the groove sits, how the harmonies lift, which lines tell the truth without shouting.
Let's get to the middle part, y'all! Middle part!
Stevie once said, "Just because a man lacks the use of his eyes doesn't mean he lacks vision." That line explains the records Weller returns to. Talking Book doesn't just sparkle, it rearranges the room. Inner Visions moves like a city, bass lines like traffic, vocals threading through horns, stories unfolding at street level. On Living for the City, the narrative builds until the last chorus lands like a verdict. Weller hears design and purpose, not ornament. The lesson, make the parts serve the truth of the song. Wonder's tools were fearless. With Malcolm Cecil and Robert Margouleff, he bent the Tonto synth into color and texture, then laid a human pulse beneath it. The clavinet on Superstition is percussive, almost drum-like. Higher Ground rides a Moog bass with relentless lift. Weller borrows that fearlessness. Let rhythm be muscular, but let melody carry the heart. From the lyric that anchors Superstition, Stevie warns, "Superstition ain't the way." Weller hears that clarity and mirrors it in his own writing. Say it plainly, then make the band prove it. That approach shapes how he arranges, leave space, stack harmonies where it matters, and let one instrument speak when others fall silent. That's Wonder's fingerprint. Generosity without clutter. Then there's Songs in the Key of Life, a record that feels like daylight. Sir Duke celebrates lineage. I Wish jumps with memory. As turns devotion into infinity. Weller treats it like a map. Proof an album can be joyful, political, intimate, and playful without losing coherence. Each track expands the world, none of them wander. Stevie has another line Weller keeps close. We all have ability, the difference is how we use it. That's the ethic. Wonder's records are virtuoso, but never self-centered. The playing points outward, to the listener, to the story, to the community. Weller respects that generosity. It's why he cites Inner Visions among his all-time favorites, and why, when he needs courage in the studio, he goes back to those grooves. For Paul Weller, Stevie Wonder isn't just inspiration, he's proof that innovation can still feel like home, and once you've heard that balance, you never want anything less. Number 4. The Kinks. There are British bands, and then there are cartographers, artists who map a place and make it sing. To Paul Weller, the Kinks are the atlas. Ray and Dave Davies wrote about ordinary streets with X-ray clarity, turning back gardens and bus stops into myth. Weller learned that dignity lives in the small frame, that character, humour and melancholy can ride the same verse without wobbling. It wasn't classroom influence, it was fuel. Back when the Jam were sharpening their sound, they didn't just tip a hat, they recorded it. Their cover of the Kinks' David Watts on All Mod Cons is more than a nod, it's a handshake across generations. Tight rhythm, sly grin, London underfoot. Weller understood what Ray Davies taught. Specificity can feel universal when the truth is clean.
Waterloo sunset, I am in paradise.
From that single, the line that never ages, as long as I gaze on Waterloo sunset, I am in paradise. Weller treasures how gently it lands. No fireworks, just observation that turns into revelation. The vocal stacks like a sigh, the guitars move like river light, and suddenly a city becomes sanctuary. Weller's ballads chase that sensation, where detailed as the heavy lifting and emotion arrives without fanfare. Then there's the North Star. The Kinks are the Village Green Preservation Society, a modest record that became monumental. Songs about photo albums, steam trains, fading clubs, each one a rescue mission for memory. Weller hears permission in it. You can celebrate the local without sounding small, you can be nostalgic without going soft. From the title track's chant, we are the Village Green Preservation Society. That spirit, protect what matters but keep your wit, is all over Weller's writing. He builds characters who don't shout but somehow linger. Shopkeepers, kids on corners, the proudly anonymous. The Kinks showed how to frame those lives with melody that smiles while the lyric quietly breaks your heart. Ray Davies could also thank without pretending everything was fine. Days holds gratitude and ache in perfect balance. Weller leans into that balance whenever he aims for grace instead of grandstanding. From Days, the line that feels like a letter, thank you for the days, those endless days, those sacred days you gave me. That's the tone Weller carries forward. Generous, skeptical, warm. The Kinks taught him that England isn't just landmarks, it's people in half-lit kitchens and couples on bridges at dusk. Write them honestly, and the songs will outlast fashion. Number 5. Nick Drake. When Paul Weller speaks about Nick Drake, his voice softens, not out of nostalgia, out of respect. Drake's records don't chase attention, they ask for silence, then reward it. 3 studio albums in 5 years, 5 Leaves Left, Brighter Later, Pink Moon, each one a different light on the same quiet soul. Producer Joe Boyd, arranger Robert Kirby, engineer John Wood, a small circle, a precise sound. Weller hears intention in every bar. From Time Has Told Me, Drake offers, Time has told me you're a rare, rare find. That line explains the pull. Drake wrote like a confidant, gentle, exact, never hurried. The fingerstyle patterns feel conversational, the melodies float, but never wander. Weller studies how the songs stay small yet carry weather. Riverman moves like a dream but lands with certainty. Hazy Jane II smiles while the harmony whispers a warning. It's the balance Weller chases. Candor without spectacle. Drake rarely performed live. He disliked the glare and the chatter between songs. The studio became the safe place, and the microphone became the confidant. On Brighter Later, Kirby's strings lift the voice like morning air, elegant, never showy. Weller hears how those arrangements leave room for breath. It's a lesson he uses often. Let the lyric carry the weight. Let the instrument stand beside it, not over it. From the title song on his final album, Drake murmurs, Pink Moon is on its way. 2 minutes, voice and guitar, a single piano chime, and yet it feels enormous. Weller respects that courage. Strip everything, keep only what's true. The production is nearly bare, but the focus is diamond hard. It's the sound of a songwriter trusting the song. Drake's words weren't slogans, they were postcards from an interior world. And even when the themes turned inward, they never became cold. The closing track of 5 Leaves Left feels like a benediction. a hand on the shoulder after a long night. From the morning, he writes, "And now we rise and we are everywhere." That single line captures why Weller returns to him. The music is intimate, but the reach is wide. Drake made English fields feel cosmic, made solitude feel communal. Weller takes that with him. Tell the truth softly, and it may carry further. Nick Drake didn't chase acclaim in his lifetime. The records found their people slowly, then permanently. For Weller, that's the proof that craft, character, and quiet conviction outlast fashion. The songs don't raise their voices. They don't need to. They arrive, they stay, and they keep growing. Weller didn't shout his list. He didn't dress it up or chase headlines. He just named the ones who stayed, the ones who never left his orbit. Some artists fade with fashion, but these 5, they still burn. They shaped his voice, sharpened his pen, and left echoes that never dulled. And once you hear who they are, you realize it isn't about ranking, it's about reverence. Weller doesn't cycle through influences like records on a shelf. He carries them like companions, guiding him through every reinvention. So which musician would you add to his circle? Who belongs in that quiet hall of names? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more stories about the hidden choices behind the legends, stick around, because there's always another layer waiting to be uncovered. For Paul Weller, influence wasn't a trend. It wasn't background noise, it was permanence.